Alright, I know what everybody's thinking. Another freaking comparison videos with Holmes box fans. Well, yeah, of course, because why not? This time we're going to be looking at the two different blades, basically. The HABF 20 on the left here is from 1998, and it uses the older banana blades. And the HABF 21, I think it is, uses the newer, I call it the Aerospeed style blade, because essentially it is the same exact blade as an Aerospeed, just a little different. But anyway, I figured I'd do this one and then maybe one with, because I still have one of those modern Holmes fans. Figured I'd compare that to this and see what that's like. But anyway, we'll start with these two. Basically, the one on the left is actually the thinner version of this. Basically, what this is essentially is, that would be like a Lakewood 200i, and that would be a Lakewood 223. That's essentially what it is. But, yeah. I'm pretty certain they made this thicker cabinet with that blade, too. But I haven't seen one. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure they would have made that. But, yeah. Now look at the overall differences. Obviously, first one being the blades is the Robeson Holmes blade with the hub like that. And this one uses pedal blades, very similar to the Aerospeeds that we currently have. Or, I don't even know if Aerospeed's really a company anymore, but this is essentially the same blade style they used, which I didn't know was a thing until I ran across this one. And I do vaguely remember seeing these, but I don't remember seeing many of them. I've seen more of these than I did these. But I do remember seeing this style blade, but it's not really ingrained in my memory as much as this one was. But yeah, this is essentially the same blade as an Aerospeed box fan, which is essentially the same thing as a Lakewood brace blade without the brace. That's all this really is. The hub's different though. It has a smooth hub, and unlike the Aerospeed and the Lakewood, it's a 3-speed, and so is this one. The Mcmillan Motors, they have two different styles of Mcmillan Motors here. This one's from 2001, and like I said, this one's from 98. Now you may be wondering, well, what's the big difference? Well, sometime in the early 2000s, the Mcmillan Motors changed from the one you see over here, which is, you know, your traditional Mcmillan motor, essentially, to the one you see over here, which was essentially the same motor, but they changed the motor casings to these kind that just screw in place. I have a Lakewood with this same motor. Yeah. It says Holmes Products Corporation there. Yes, it says top, but even though these are Holmes fans are kind of reverse, I guess, because they kind of like, this would be normal setup. They flip it on the side. Same's the case with this, because I had to flip the motor shells, so the oil ports were up there instead of down there. But basically what they did is they flipped the motor sideways, because typically on a Lakewood, which is what most of these motors were used in, the switch is on up here on this side, and the wire would just go bloop, bloop up there. But with these, since it's up here on the grill, they just flip the motor on the side and put the switch there. So yeah, they did that with both of them. Essentially, they're basically the same fan, except for, like I said, this one's thinner than this one. And you can see the different case designs. This one has the wider frame, this one has a thinner frame. But this one, being older, it still has the stand holes. So yeah, make sure this thing ain't gonna tip over. Hopefully it doesn't. And we'll start them up on low. Can already tell you now, the one on the left moves more air. The one on the right is kind of pitiful when it comes to air movement, honestly. It's a wonder why Holmes pretty much abandoned box fans after those. I don't think they really made any, other than the rotating grill one after that. I'm not really sure how long they actually made box fans, because obviously that's from 2001, and the rotating one I have back here is from 2002. I'm not sure how long they really made box fans. I would imagine the rotating grill one lasted longer than these, because, well, I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I mean, they would have to have some kind of basic model with a 5-blade like that. And that's probably what it was. Until, like, I don't know, like the early 2010s when they came out with the ones that pretty much copied Lakewood's. Which I guess Holmes really always kind of copied Lakewood. Because the original Holmes box fans are rebranded Robeson fans. And Robeson fans were basically copies of Lakewood. They were not made by Lakewood. They were copies. And what they basically just copied the blades from Lakewood and used the same motors. Now, the third generation, like the one over here, more resembles a Toastmaster blade with a different hub. But that would have been the third generation Robeson blade. This one's just slightly newer, and it has a different kind of style hub to it than the original Robeson design. But yeah, they both run pretty well. Like I said, this one over here moves more air. This one moves some, but nothing compared to that. But anyway, you can go up to medium. The one on the right is more or less a noisemaker. I mean, it moves some air, but not as much as this one's moving. But yeah. And the blade is really light on this one. It doesn't matter, because this one's got a heavier hub. This one, it's about as light as a modern box fan blade. I mean, technically it is a modern fan. It just has a good motor in it. Anyway, here's high. Both. Now they both have the Holmes Air shake, which is pretty common on these. And like always, the one on the left moves more air than the one on the right. And we'll shut them both off. Alright. Now, with that one having such a light blade, it doesn't take long. At all. Doesn't matter how much you oil it. This one actually has a decent weight to the blade, so it takes a little while. Actually has a pretty nice coast to it. But anyway, there's that. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.